everyone! In today's video we're going to crochet the Solveij dress together. It can be long or short or even a top if you like. Depending on size, you need 1 or 2 rolls of the Econano tube yarn and a size 7 crochet needle, or 6 if that's what you prefer. I like the size 7 one because it makes it a bit more airy to crochet with. But enough talking, let's get started. So let's get started. First, I would recommend you pause the video here and go to the description and see how many loops you need for your first chain. So for your size, so you know how to start. And then come back and continue. All right, so let's start with making a slip knot. And grab a yarn. So we wrap it around our fingers like this. You cross them over. You slide the loop off and just pull the yarn through. And there you have a slip knot. Let's continue making a chain, and that we start with wrapping the yarn over a needle or yarn over, hook the yarn and pull through the loop. Again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. So now you make a chain with the amount of loops you need for your size. There I have the amount for my first chain. For the next step, we're going to make single crochets, and for that we start in the second loop from our needle. So 1, 2, and this loop right here. So dive down with your needle, yarn over, hook the yarn, pull it up, so you have 2 loops around your needle, yarn over again, and pull through both loops. There you have a single crochet. So make 1 single crochet in every loop on your chain all the way to the end. So now I'm at the end of my row. Make my final single crochet. There we have it. And for the next step, we're going to start making triple crochets or treble crochets. Same things, 2 different names. So first, we start with making 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we turn our work over like this. So now we're going to make our triple crochets, and we're only going to make them in every other stitch. That means we skip 1, make a triple crochet, skip 1 and make a triple crochet. So to do that, we wrap the yarn twice around our needle. So this first chain we made counts as a first stitch. So skip next one, and in the third one right here, we make our triple crochet. So dive down with the needle, hook the yarn and pull it up. So now you have 4 loops around your needle. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the next 2 loops, yarn over a third time, pull through the last 2 loops. Then we're going to end with 1 chain. So we make space in between our triple crochets. And again, we skip 1, make a triple crochet in the next one. Yarn over twice, skip 1, dive down in the next, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, and make a chain. And continue making these triple crochets all the way to the end of the row, and I will meet you there. I'm making my final 2 triple crochets. here in the last stitch, we're going to make the last one. And again, we end or start the next round or row with 4 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we turn our work over and we repeat the same thing. Now we're going to work in the same like top stitches above our triple crochets so they line up. So in this top right here, dive down, pull the yarn up, and then we make our triple crochet. So continue all the way to the end of the row, and I will show you how we finish when there is a chain and not a stitch like this, just so you know how to do it. I will meet you there. So now I'm at the end of my second row. So let me just show you. Here we have a chain. So remember we did 4 chains to start with. And since we want a space in between all of our triple crochets, on this chain we're gonna continue and make the last triple crochet on this round in the second loop on this chain. So we skip 1 to get a middle section, and then we use the second loop on this chain and we crochet our last one. Sorry, forgot to wrap my yarn. So in the second one, we dive down here, hook the yarn and pull it up, and make your last triple crochet on your row. It's super easy to forget because it's a little bit invisible, but there you have it, 2 rows. So just continue making any amount of rows you want for the length of your dress or your top, whatever you want. And I will meet you at the next step where we're going to crochet the shoulder and neck hole. See you there. All right, so now we're at the next step, and that means we're going to crochet the shoulder and the neck hole. So as you can see, I started prepping with some needles, and so I counted 7 triple crochets for each shoulder section, and that's just my preference. You decide yourself how wide you want your shoulder parts to be. And in between, that's going to be my neck hole. And I want it kind of narrow. So I decided on this. So grab some needles and place your markers. And then I'm going to show you how we crochet. So as before, we start with making our 4 chains as the first triple crochet on our row. And then we just make triple crochets all the way to the first marker. So when you are done crocheting your first shoulder section, you're going to count how many loops you need for a chain for the neck hole. So we count, let me just show you, and this is where I stopped. I haven't made the chain yet for the middle section right here, just so you can follow along. So we're going to count chain, triple crochet, chain, triple crochet, all the way to the other marker. So do that. And then you crochet a chain with the right amount, and then we're going to continue with the other shoulder section. So I'm just making sure I haven't twisted my chain. So when we're going to start with the next shoulder part, I'm going to remove my marker, and then we're going to, just like we do with the triple crochets, we twist the yarn twice around the needle, dive down where we placed our marker, and just make a triple crochet like this. And then you continue with the other shoulder section, and now we show you how we do the next row. So now I have started the next row of my project, this is actually the back side of your dress or the top you're making. So I've started with my triple crochets all the way up to the chain. So let me just show you how you do this. So it's kind of the same procedure. You just wrap the yarn twice and then you skip the first chain and dive into the next one, just like this. And again, we skip the next stitch and dive down in the next one. So every other loop on your chain, easy peasy. And then you just continue crocheting the same amount as the front, or if you want it longer or shorter, you decide yourself. You design your dress and your top, however you like it. And then I will meet you at the next step, and that is finishing up the end of the dress. All right, so now we reached the final step of the back side, and that means we're going to crochet 1 row of single crochets. So like the other rows, we end the previous one with 1 chain, and then we turn our work over. So now we're going to make 2 single crochets in every chain space between our triple crochets. So let me show you how we start. So you dive down with the needle in the chain space, then you hook the yarn and pull it up, so you have 2 loops on your needle. Hook the yarn again and pull through both loops. There we have one more time in the same loop, in the same hole. Hook the yarn and pull it up and make a second single crochet. Then we get to the next chain space right here. So dive down with the needle, hook the yarn and pull it up. So you have 2 loops, hook the yarn again and pull through both loops. Just continue making 2 single crochets in every chain space all the way to the end of the row. So now I'm making my last 2 single crochets, and there I'm done. So now we can I'm just going to cut the yarn and make a knot so I can show you how we finish. So I just pull this yarn through and tighten it so you get a knot, and there you have it. So you just hide this string of yarn. Actually, I made it a little long, so I'm just going to cut it a little shorter, and then we can just hide this string of yarn somewhere in between the stitches right here or alongside this side when you close it up. I'm just going to do it like this real quick to show you. Something like this. Just continue, and then you just cut it off. Okay, so now for the next step, that means we're gonna crochet our front and back together. And let me see if I can show you. This is a pretty big piece, but here we have the front like this. So I'm just going to fold it in half. So I have my shoulder part. Fold it like this. And then you just put your dress or top on, and then you place a marker where you want the armhole to stop. So I'm going to try mine on right now and place some needles where I want my armhole to be. And then I'm going to show you how I measure out the yarn for stitching this side together. So now I've tried on my dress and I placed needles where I want my armholes to start or stop, and then I'm going to crochet this side together. So depending on how you like to stitch the side together, if you want the side to be completely shut all the way down to the bottom, or if you like to leave some space open, you decide that yourself. But I know that this section is going to be stitched together with the yarn. So I measure out, I grab my yarn and I measure out, I usually go for double the length. A little bit more to be sure. Let me see, something like this. And then I cut my yarn. And now we're gonna kind of stitch back and forth. But first, we start with a slip knot. So again, wrap the yarn around your fingers, cross them over, slide it off, and make a knot. And you can start either down here or up, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna start here. So now we're gonna stitch back and forth through both sides. So I start down here by the first stitch and I put my needle through both loops, and then I hook the slip knot and pull it through. And then I just pull the yarn all the way through this first loop, so you kind of secure it. And now I kind of go back and forth like a zigzag pattern. So I get my needle through both loops on both the front and the back side, and then I hook the yarn and pull the yarn all the way through like this, and then I fold it over and I do the same thing. Hook it and pull it all the way through. Quite simple. So just continue all the way to where your marker is, and I will meet you there and show you how we finish, and then we're done with the dress. Well, actually you need to do the other side too, but you know, almost done. So now I reached where I put my markers. I'm just going to take them out and finish my final stitch somewhere around here. And I like to do like one more in the same stitch. So I pull the yarn through so I get a loop, and then I pull the yarn all the way through this loop so I get a knot, so it's tight and secure. And then I just hide my yarn in between the stitches like we did before. And then you're done with this side, and just repeat the same step on the other side of the dress. And then you're done to wear your dress or your top, whatever you made. And there we have it. So I'm just gonna continue with the other side, and then I'm gonna try my dress on. Yay! You've made it. Your very own Solveij dress is done. Great job. Don't forget to tag us on social media. We love to see what you create. And please check out more videos on our website. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.